Nigel Cauldwell, Senior Lecturer, Heriot University, Edinburgh. Thank you for talking to the AIM Practice video today. We're here to look at these industry-academia collaborations. Can we begin by asking if you think these collaborations are important, and if so, why?
I've worked for about the last 12 years on various research projects, often involving collaboration with industrialists, public sector, etc. And I found that this KT Box project has been the most successful.
And why has it been successful? Is it because it's been going for 3 years, that you meet the same people?
Well, the answer to that is that what has been unique about this KT Box project is that the industrial engagement with the project has grown as the project's gone on, and is peaking as the project is ending. Now, my previous experience has been quite the reverse, that there's quite a lot of interest from the industrialists at the beginning of the project, and it tends to fade away towards the latter part.
Now, we have a society or a global economy in trouble. Are there benefits in these challenges of bringing industry and academia together? What can be gained?
I think this project has really shown the value of having industrialists involved. The industrialists involved in this project have really challenged and pushed the academics, and that's been quite a unique feature in my 12 years experience. And I think it's partly the quality of the industrialists that we've had in this project, and perhaps the number of them as well, because they've been prepared, they've been prepared to challenge and say, you're not explaining that clearly, I don't understand that, that doesn't seem good, you haven't done enough in this area. And that's not been an easy process. It's not been easy for the industrialists and not easy for the academics, but I think that having some genuine interrogation of our outputs by the industrialists in this project has been the key to its success.
Is it easier to work with established partners? That's what you're saying, that actually it gained momentum because people built up relationships together. Establishing these partnerships are important.
I don't think that was the key. I mean, that, over time, obviously, relationships build up and a certain level of trust build up. That can happen in a number of contexts. I think the key to this, the success of the industrial involvement in this project, has been that the industrialists are experienced managers. What tends to happen, what happened in previous projects that I've worked on, you would have a very senior person that you'd meet at the beginning of the project who would kind of be a sponsor, but you'd never meet again. And then you would be given either very bright graduates or more usually very bright people who've recently done a master's degree who are in their early 20s. The disadvantage with that, even though these have been very bright people, is that they are too young and too inexperienced to have much clout within their own internal organisation. And because they've been recently in the education system, they're actually almost too willing to accept the academic way of doing things. They almost, in a way that means that the outputs and outcomes don't tend to be practitioner industry friendly enough because they're too biased towards the academics.
Right, and does that change over time?
Well, because research projects tend to last 2 or 3 years, you tend to have that person with you for that length of time. So over that time, although they're obviously developing their career, the advantage of this project has been that we've had experienced, established practitioners who have stuck with the project over 2 to 3 years, and therefore they've grown in confidence about their role in the project.
So how, if you're in industry, so if I was in industry or in academia and I wanted a new collaboration, how do I go about finding them? Do I pick up the telephone directory, or do I attend an event? How do you form new collaborations? Do they spring out of the old ones and the project you're working on at the moment?
That is a very difficult question. I'm not sure I have an answer to that.
Okay, fine. Winning ideas. If you get involved in a collaboration, do you always spot the winning idea immediately? Do you think, oh, I've been thinking about that for some time, I'm glad he mentioned it, and then you run off and implement it? Or is the word winning perhaps a wrong way to think?
I think winning is probably not the right way to think. I think if your question is saying, do dark horses emerge where you hadn't anticipated that a particular project would take off, I think definitely. And particularly my experience with the social housing project that I've led within this wider project, I don't think that was perceived as very central to the overall objectives of the project, but it has emerged as, you know, a very solid part of the platform of the overall project.
Is it difficult to deliver on your promises? And what about managing expectations? Because you might start off doing one thing, as you say, a research project lasts 2 or 3 years, and then you have to fine-tune it and adjust it. And do partnerships fall apart, or do you have to manage those expectations closely?
I think one of the things that's occurred in this project is that the Katie Box project has had a very highly structured approach compared to most academic research collaborations with industry. And it does seem that the industrialists have taken this it's appealed to them to have a highly structured process. We call it a gate review process, but having a process that they can relate to as the kind of processes they go through at work, I think has been a key success factor.
And do academics and industry partners always share those same objectives? Or is this a special thing about, you know, because it was structured? I
think the structure, which was to an extent, it seemed at the time imposed on the academics, and I think it took a long time for us, and to do with the trust that you were talking about earlier, developing the kind of confidence in each other, and we slowly realised as academics that this gate review process wasn't trying to kick out our ideas as much as improve them, and the gate review process gave the industrialists a mechanism for being a critical friend, for giving us advice and help, as opposed to kind of sitting in judgment on us. And the highly structured approach kind of defused emotion and personality from it, and it was much more about how good is this piece of work, where is its flaws, how can we improve on those, what new ideas can we add. And as the project's gone on, it's become clearer and clearer how much the industrialists can contribute when they've got a kind of framework within which to do it.
And is that the revelation for you? Is it right to talk about revelations? You said we can't talk about winning ideas, but can we talk about revelations?
I think so, because this has been, as I say, in 12 years of research, working in research projects, this has been sensationally the best in terms of the academic industrial collaboration.
If you take private information sources and public information sources, the public ones are often very sensitive. Is there a tension in the different values underpinning these? And how do you manage that sensitive collaboration of data sharing in the public and private sector?
That is an interesting question, and my answer now, after nearly 3 years of this project, would be completely different to my answer at the beginning of this project. As this project has gone on, it seems to be that there is more competitiveness and rivalry between the academics than there is between the industrialists, which is what I would not have predicted at the start.
So there is a tension in managing information sources.
There are tensions in managing information, but surprisingly, I think there is much among the academics as there are between having diverse industrial partners.
So you've got to get the IP sorted out? Or?
Yes, that has been one of the things that has taken a very, very long time in this project and a lot of energy.